The Philippines has just experienced something historic, a first-ever participation at the Volleyball World Championship. And it wasn't just about showing up. They nearly reached the round of 16, shocking the volleyball world by beating Egypt and pushing Iran to a tiebreak where they even held 6 match points. That performance alone has changed the perception of what this national team is capable of. But now comes the difficult part, sustaining this momentum and turning it into real progress in the FIVB World Ranking. Because make no mistake, the FIVB ranking is the one and only door that opens the path to the world stage. There are no more alternative routes, no wildcards, no backdoors. If the Philippines want to qualify again for the World Championship in 2027 and even dream about joining the Volleyball Nations League in the future, their sole strategy must revolve around the ranking system. To understand how the Philippines can rise, we first need to look at how the FIVB World Ranking system actually works. Only official competitions with at least 4 national teams are eligible, and every match counts toward the ranking. The outcome of each game is compared against expectations. If a team performs better than predicted, it gains points, and if it underperforms, it loses them. The value of those points depends on the prestige of the competition, measured by the match weight factor. The highest level is the Olympic Games and the World Championship, both set at 50. The Volleyball Nations League and Continental Championships come next at 40. Below that, annual continental events and annual zonal events each carry a weight of 30. This means that for teams outside the top tier, multiplying appearances in continental and zonal events is the most efficient way to collect ranking points. Today, I want to show you a full strategy, how the Philippines can maximize their opportunities, grow their score fast, and put themselves on the international volleyball map in a sustainable way. Let's start with Southeast Asia. The Philippines, Vietnam, Indonesia, and Thailand have already understood the potential of the SEAV League. In 2025, this league welcomed Cambodia into the competition. On paper, Cambodia entered the ranking with a default starting score of 50 points. The 4 established teams, by simply defeating Cambodia, collectively earned around 45 points. That may sound like a small bonus, but in ranking strategy, this is a goldmine. Because in 2025, Cambodia started at 50 points like any new or returning team, but after 8 consecutive defeats, they lost everything and could not rebuild their score. Their attractiveness as a point source faded very quickly. Now imagine extending this logic. The Southeast Asian Volleyball Association, or SAVA, is larger than just those 5 nations. Malaysia, Singapore, and Laos all once had national teams in the ranking, and if they returned, they would re-enter with 50 points each. Myanmar is a special case. They would come back with a score of 57 points. And here's the important part. All of these nations, except Brunei and Timor-Leste, already compete regularly in the volleyball tournament of the Southeast Asian Games. If they are going to field teams anyway, it would make far more sense to introduce them into an FIVB-recognized competition. Beyond that, encouraging Brunei and Timor-Leste to establish teams would also add 2 more entrants at 50 points each. If this happens, the SEAV League could become a true regional league with 10 matches to play as early as 2026. Suddenly, instead of a small 5-team double round robin, we'd be talking about a large-scale annual zonal event where the Philippines could bank points regularly. The beauty of this strategy is that the reserve of points would not dry up as quickly as it did with Cambodia. When 6 or 7 new teams are introduced into a new competition, they don't all collapse. By playing each other, some of them will manage to maintain or even improve their score. That means they will keep a reserve of points in circulation, ensuring that the Philippines and their regional rivals continue to benefit over multiple editions of the tournament. And if the Philippines position themselves as consistent winners in this environment, their ranking will rise steadily. This is what we call an opportunity window. It won't last forever. The FIVB may eventually adjust the regulations if it notices too many teams using this shortcut, but as of now, it's a legitimate and highly effective way to move up the ladder. The next layer of the strategy is to use the Asian Volleyball Confederation's competitions. Each continental confederation is allowed to organize 2 annual continental events per year. For the AVC, the first of these is the Nations Cup. The Philippines must be present there without exception. But there is an even greater opportunity, the 2nd annual continental event. With their recent experience hosting the World Championship, the Philippines are in a strong position to propose and organize such a competition. The AVC Cup, which has been dormant for years, could easily be revived by 2026 with the Philippines as hosts. For these annual continental events, the match weight factor is set at 30, the same as for zonal events. What really makes the difference here is scale. The larger the number of teams at the start of the competition, the easier the first round becomes. The AVC counts no fewer than 65 members. With proper financial support, it's perfectly realistic to invite 32 national teams into one of these events. That would dilute the level in the early stages and allow the Philippines to collect points with relatively low risk. That means that in the opening phase, the Philippines could face very modest opponents and collect points almost risk-free. By multiplying these official matches, they accelerate their ranking climb. Of course, accumulating matches is not enough. The Philippines must also win, and not just against the weakest nations. The next stage is to beat mid-tier Asian teams more consistently. At the regional level, that means victories against Thailand, Vietnam, and Indonesia in the SEAV League. Beyond Southeast Asia, it means competing successfully against India, Pakistan, South Korea, and Taiwan. Teams from Central Asia and the Gulf are also crucial targets. Many of them have recently re-entered the ranking, which makes them perfect opportunities. Each victory against these opponents could yield between 3 and 15 points, depending on the gap in scores. To give you perspective, when Turkey upset Japan at the 2025 World Championship match, they gained nearly 21 points in a single day. The Philippines don't need miracles on that scale, but steady gains of 5 to 10 points per match would transform their ranking within a year. One important clarification: matches against Asia's elite, Japan, Iran, and China, will not count if they happen in annual continental events. Because these three teams play in the Volleyball Nations League, the system excludes them from that calculation. The Philippines should not expect any ranking reward from those encounters, even though they remain valuable experiences. The major test will come at the Asian Championship in 2026. This competition has a match weight factor of 40, putting it on par with continental championships in Europe and South America. Every victory here has the potential to bring double-digit points. For the Philippines, the target must be crystal clear. The Asian Championship is their best opportunity to climb into the world's top 28 because every match carries a match weight factor of 40. If they succeed, they secure their spot at the 2027 World Championship. But nothing will be guaranteed. Even if they arrive already inside the top 28, they will still need to defend that position by beating lower-ranked opponents and avoiding costly upsets. With so much ranking value on the line, the Asian Championship is not just another tournament. It is the decisive event that will determine whether the Philippines can take the next giant leap. Let's break down the numbers. Today, the Philippines sit at 40 points in the FIVB ranking. To qualify directly for the 2027 World Championship, they need around 130 points. That's a gap of 90 points. Is that unrealistic? Not at all. In fact, Bahrain just demonstrated how quickly progress is possible. In only 6 weeks this year, Bahrain gained 62 points by playing just 11 matches. That's an average of 5.6 points per match. Now imagine the Philippines in 2026. With the SEAV League expanded, an AVC Nations Cup, a revived AVC Cup, and the Asian Championship, they could realistically play 25 official matches. If they average even 3.5 points per match, that would give them the 90 points they need. This projection is entirely achievable, as long as the Federation prioritizes scheduling, preparation, and consistency. The path is clear. Expand the SEAV League with as many new national teams as possible. Maximize annual continental events by hosting and inviting large numbers of participants. Beat mid-tier Asian teams consistently. Make the 2026 Asian Championship the ultimate goal. Every element of this plan is based on how the FIVB ranking system actually works today. But timing is essential. The window may not remain open forever. The FIVB could revise the rules, just as it has done in the past. That is why the Philippines must act quickly, decisively, and with a clear, long-term vision. I am Olivier Vidal, consultant in FIVB ranking strategy. If you are part of the Philippine Federation, or any other federation looking to climb the world ranking, I stand ready to provide a complete roadmap for your progression. From competition scheduling to performance analysis and ranking simulations, this is the work I specialize in. The Philippines have already shown the world that they belong. Now it's about building on that success, step by step, and turning it into lasting presence at the very top. The opportunity is here. The only question is, will they take it?